City of Heroes has been rated T by the ESRB for mild language, mild violence, and adult situations. It has been approved for all players aged 13 and older. You literally can, you cannot go wrong putting whatever you want on a hot dog. Fanciest hot dog I ever made as a chef had pulled pork and coleslaw on it. So yeah, that was a fancy hot dog. Tonight, though, I think it's just going to be standard. I'll steam some hot dogs and steam them. Don't boil them. Steam them. It's just better for the hot dog. Steam up some hot dogs. Put out, the usual suspects: ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. Yes, and people do put mayonnaise on hot dogs. I know it sounds odd, but it happens. And just let the family figure out what they want to put on them. Me, I'm pretty basic. Little mustard, little relish, and I'm good. How do you like your hot dogs? And I might get some like baked beans or some potato salad. Baked beans and potato salad from not Publix, Winn-Dixie down here in the South. Winn-Dixie makes the best baked beans. They really do. As a classic Southern company, they make the best baked beans. They're just amazing. But that's my plan for dinner. Let me get a drink real quick, because I've been talking continuously since we started this. I gotta take my trash out. I'm trying this new Gatorade flavor. It's green apple. I don't know if it's actually new, but I've never seen it before. I like it. Gotta say I like it. Of course, what I really need to do is just grab a bottle of water. I just don't know if I have any in my refrigerator right now. In any case, Bobbi's toy robot here is developing nicely. Level 28 on the way to level 29. It is, I've mentioned it before, but it is important that you really stick it to the radar engineers, because otherwise they drop this drone that creates a force field that just makes it harder for them to fight. Harder to fight them, rather. Yep, teleport away. You pull the map up. Why do I still have the contacts on? Okay, here we go. Ah, there he is. Big room full of Sky Raiders. All right. I have to admit that I'm beginning to run out of things to talk about. Excuse me, guys. I did not mean to cough in your face. I had, in one of my other Let's Plays, my Planet Zoo Let's Play, I had a bit of a disaster. I was You see, this is what I'm talking about. That's the force field generator. And it's just going to hang out there until I blow it to hell. I had a bit of an accident with my Planet Zoo playthrough. Namely, I accidentally deleted the game file. And, you know, I was in a lot of pain. My arthritis was flaring up. So I took one of my, what I call my big gun painkillers. These, you know, I won't go into what I'm taking, but let's just say that I don't feel any pain while I'm on it. Okay, I'm not feeling any pain at all when I take this particular pill. And rather than do the sensible thing and having taken the pill, immediately laying down and sleeping it off, I was like, oh no, I can get some things done. You know what? I'll clean up my old save files for Planet Zoo because, I have save files from zoos that I worked on like 2 years ago. And, okay, I just got to recover the last file. And so here I am going, no, I can do this. I can clean up some of my old files. I don't need them. I'll just go ahead and delete them. And I did this, and the notification came up, X, Y, and Z files are too large to recycle. Do I want to permanently delete them? And I went, yeah, I do. So I hit the yes, and so they were all permanently deleted. Only for me to find out later that while I permanently deleted the files from, say, the zoos I was working on 3 years ago, I also deleted the file of the zoo that I was working on that morning. So I basically have to start the zoo from scratch. And that's like, damn. Not something anybody wants to do if you're working a let's play of a zoo simulator. But I have to do it because otherwise what am I supposed to do? I can't get my file back. It's done. It's gone. That the zoo as it existed is no longer extant. Okay, there we go. So I had to restart the zoo from scratch, which is inconvenient on one hand, but on the other, it's like, hey, I still love playing that game, so. And I do. I think it's my favorite game right now. He says, well, playing a game he's technically been playing for 30 years. Well, 20, But yeah, no. I have more time built up on Planet Zoo than I have any other game. I think I'm approaching my 6,000th hour on that game. According to Steam, I'm somewhere in that neighborhood. I am not the best zoo designer. I openly admit it. I have knowledge of techniques. I'm pretty good. I don't suck. But nobody really sucks at that kind of game. That's the kind of game that as long as you're having fun and as long as you're putting in some effort and you're learning and you're, all that kind of noise, this is not a game that you fail at. It's, as long as you're happy with what you're doing and as long as you're taking care of your animals, you're doing it right. I've told that to multiple. There's a problem among the Planet Zoo community, in fact, because we have some people in this community who are amazing zoo designers. I mean, they could do professionally kind of thing. These amazing zoo designers, you see their videos on YouTube. There we go. You see their videos on YouTube, and they're doing these huge, beautiful edifices. And you're like, how do they do that? How can I, in comparison, my creations just stink. I hear that from new players all the time. Okay, Christine Lansdale. I can't believe this government document. It is incendiary. It proposes using the Skyraiders as mercenaries for illegal government operations. And it squarely states that Colonel Duray and the missing members of Vigilance didn't die but went rogue. This could destroy the careers of numerous people in the military and intelligence communities. I'll make sure that everything gets back to the police and the copies of the papers get to the right people. This General Z isn't playing games. So ask about new missions. General Z's tips have led us to some remarkable conclusions, and I think we need to follow them up. In particular, I'd like to know more about the connection between Lockhart Aerotech and the Skyraiders. Can you head over to the Lockhart office and ask around? I absolutely can. So government corruption, black ops, things like that. And we need to go to Perez Park. Why would any legitimate business have an office in Perez Park, given the destruction and the general lawlessness? Oh, fellas, can we not do this? Come on. Hold on. This is not going to be actually worth anything to me because no experience. These guys are like 20 levels beneath me almost. I just landed so I could do this. Perez Park. So anyway, what was I talking about before? Music? No, I talked about music. Hot dogs? No, I talked about hot dogs. Planet Zoo. Oh, for crying out loud. So yeah, I accidentally deleted the file. But what I was talking about was that we get new people playing the game, and they get discouraged because they look at things created by there's a woman out there she calls herself Delay Designer. I think she's actually a graphic artist by profession. She's or a landscaper or something like that. Excuse me. I'm getting hoarse. She's something like that by profession. She's a landscaper or a graphic design artist or something. But it gives her a leg up when it comes to creating this sort of thing, right? And they'll look at her stuff. They'll look at the things created by a guy named Rudy Rinkamel. He's a German gentleman, and his name really is Rinkamel. But he's a professional. He's a professional graphics design. He does architecture, things like that. So of course he's going to have an eye for putting things together that most of us don't. But they look at these people, these geniuses who are experts at the game, and they worked hard to become so. Don't get me wrong. But they look at the stuff created by these people, and they're like, in comparison, the stuff that I'm building sucks. Well, what do you say to that? What you say to that is you say, why are you comparing yourself to someone who has years and years and years of experience at the game if you're new? You have to ask yourself, were you happy with your creation when you made it? If the answer to that is yes, ask yourself the next question. Are the animals in your game well taken care of, happy, healthy, and all that number? Did you achieve the basic necessity of creating a zoo that is doing its one job, and that is taking care of the animals? If the answer is yes, the next thing you have to think about is, well, why are you complaining? If everything you did is just fine, you don't have to do these grand cathedrals to, to whatever, in order to do things right. And besides, I'm betting that what you've created is not as bad as what you think. And I honestly believe that. And I've been telling the new folks, I said, look, everybody who started this game started where you are. Hesitant, not sure how to do things, wanting to make pretty, beautiful habitats and that you would like to go see in a real zoo. Just practice, you'll get there. I am, like I said, I'm by no means the best Planet Zoo player in the world, but I'm happy with what I do, and the reason I'm happy with what I do is because, I've been practicing. I don't suck. I never sucked. I had one person, though, take a look at my zoo and was like, well, it's obvious you're not putting any effort into it. And I'm like, where do you get off telling me that? I put effort into my zoos. Just because I don't necessarily do it like you do it. That's the other thing. If you're having fun with a game, who the hell's business is it telling you that you're not doing it right? This is a problem I've encountered with this game. I've encountered that problem with this game too. If you don't have the correct slots, if you're not doing it right, if you're not doing this right, if you're not doing it, what they're basically saying is, if you're not doing it in the precise way I'm doing it, you're doing it wrong. Well, again, who the hell are you? Who are you to, if I'm having fun, who the hell are you to tell me that I'm doing this wrong? I hate that kind of gatekeeping attitude. I've encountered it in all kinds of games. D&D. Oh my God. You wouldn't believe the number of arrogant jackasses in the D&D community who honestly want to tell you, well, you're not doing it the way I'm doing it, therefore you're doing it incorrectly. And it's like, I had this one guy, he honestly said, well, I've been playing for 30 years, so I know what I'm talking about. Oh, 30 years. 30 years. Yeah, that's a lot of time. 30 years is a long time. Of course, his playing for 30 years meant that I had already been playing for 16 years when he started the game. I am not arrogant to presume the fact that I've been playing D&D for 46 years now means anything other than I've been playing for a long-ass time. Certainly doesn't give me the right to say, you're doing it wrong. I can't stand that kind of arrogant asshole attitude. I cannot stand it. Well, I've been doing it for,